Good day, everyone, and today we have the basic concept of sociology and the study of Philippine indigenous communities.
Now let's talk about what is sociology. Sociology is the systematic study of human society and social behavior. It examines how social structures, institutions, and culture shapes our action, beliefs, and opportunities. Ultimately, it seeks to understand the force that creates, maintains, and transforms
A pleasant morning to all of you. I'm ALJON BONOTAN, and today let me explain to all of you the first concept of sociology, which is society. So what is society? Society is a large group of people that interacts and typically operates in a single political authority. So basically, society is a group of people who interact with one another and share common culture. For example, is people who live in different barangay. Now, let's move on to the 7 characteristics of a society. So what are those? The first one is consists of people, has mutual interaction and awareness, depends on likeliness or mutuality, composed of differences, roots from cooperation and division of labor, implies interdependence, and the last one is dynamics.
Hi everyone, I am Ann Christian L. Romero. So today I will be presenting my report that is characteristics of community. So a community is an essential part of human life. It refers to a group of people who live together in a particular area or who are connected by shared beliefs, values, and interests. Communities can be based on location, culture, region, or even common goals. They help people feel a sense of belonging and provide support to their members. Characteristics of community. First, has a name. Means the topic has a distinct title, making it easier to understand, find, and organize within the community. Second, consists of people. A community is formed by individuals coming together. Without people, there can be no community. Because community means social relationship and interaction. Third, share the same locality. Most communities exist within a specific geographic area, like a neighborhood, city, or village. Living the same locality helps members interact, cooperate, and depend on one another for daily life needs. Nowadays, there can also be virtual communities like online groups, where the locality is a shared digital space. Members have a sense of belonging. People in a community usually feel connected to one another. This sense of belonging means they recognize themselves as part of the group, not just individuals living side by side. It creates unity, cooperation, and loyalty within the group. Next, have likeness in language, belief, and customs. Communities often share common traditions, values, religions, or languages. These similarities help them understand each other better, live harmoniously, and pass down their culture from the next generation. From one generation to the next, shared beliefs and customs also provide a guiding framework for behavior. That's all.
Hello there everyone, my name is MARIANNE and BURGA, and we will be tackling about types of community. Community is typically labeled into 3 general types depending on their size, population, geographical location, and economical aspect. First is the tribal community. These communities are isolated, typically governed by elders, which they share mutuality of culture, language, dialect, and beliefs, such as beliefs in spirit, magic, and supernatural forces. The best example is the Dumagat people, where their tribe has the tradition that involves rituals too. Second one is the rural community. These groups are consist of fewer people, mostly residing in provinces area in which they rely more on their agriculture to provide for the community, and have a strong bond between neighbors and families that they often treat each other as their own bloodline. The last one is urban community. Urban community are composed of large group of different people, can be typically living in apartment, condos, and houses, particularly in the city. Most focuses on innovation. Unlike rural community, they have easier access to wider range of job opportunities and services. So there are three types of community. We have tribal community, rural community, and urban community.
Institutions provide a framework for the people living in the society. It is an organized structure with a shared purpose of addressing the basic social needs, along with the accepted rules and behaviors that shapes how the people and or the members of the society interact, keeping the society disciplined and running. It states here that the institution provides the organization of the society, and it allows to have a followed rules to the each members of the communities. To add to that, it creates a big impact in our society because institution can handle the laws and it disciplines the behaviors of the members in the society. Also, it aims to promote the social stability and order. Overall, institution builds the structure of cooperation of every individuals in the communities and nagsiset ito bilang parte ng kaayusan sa ating society. Moreover, there are two types of institution which are the primary institution and the secondary institution.
Hi, I'm CEDRICK MACANDA, Group 1 in PAC, and I'm here to talk about the types of institution and social system. Types of institution. Institutions are labeled into two categories depending on roles they play in the lives of people within the society. These institutions are generally classified as primary and secondary institutions. Primary institutions serves as foundation or base dealing with an individual's most basic needs and values, making them essential for a community to function. For example, is family and religion. So basically, this institution that we cooperate in our daily basis or most regular basis. The best example here is the family where we do interact with them every single day. They provide us with our basic needs and values that will build us as a person. Secondary institutions are built upon the foundation provided by a primary institution. They are meant to deal with and provide individual need to help as a member in running society, most dealing with education, governance, and economy. For example, is educational institutions, government, and business institute. So the secondary institution is more societal because it helps us to become a more functional member of society, and it can also help us choose what we want to do in life and in our future by interaction with people and coalition with people with the same goals. Also, moving forward, social system. Social organizations are set up in how individuals band together to accomplish shared objectives, including both formal and informal arrangements. So basically, the social system talks about how we can have different goals in society but still work as one. We're being assigned individually based on our skill set or preferences. So here's the characteristic of social organization. It has a clear structure, has defined purpose, and division of labor and shared goals. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, and good day everyone. My name is Rossini de Guzman. I am your next reporter, and the next concept that we have is social organization. As defined in the slide, it says that social organizations are set up and how individuals band together to accomplish their shared objectives, including the both formal and formal arrangements. And so, in other words, we can define social organization as the structured relationships and patterns of interaction within a group of individuals where they can define their roles, their responsibilities, and the power dynamics. It also establishes a framework for their collective action, their decision making, resource allocation that enables the group to achieve their common goals. So, these organizations can range from small informal groups to large, complex institutions, each having their own set of rules, norms, and hierarchies. So, how do you know if it is a social organization? Well, these are the These are the characteristic of a social organization. First one is that they should have a clear structure. You should have a defined purpose. What is the social organization for? And also it has a division of labor. Who gets to do this, who gets to do that? And lastly, they must have shared goals. What are they doing this for? What is the social organization for? That is social organization's characteristics.
Social group. Social groups are two or more people who interact, have mutual traits, and feel united and have a sense of belonging. From small, personal primary groups like families and close friends to bigger, more impersonal and secondary groups like sports teams or work committees, these groups can take many different forms. So first, social group is hindi lang basta-basta mga taong naghahangot or nagpapond. It's also about connection, identity, and influence. It's also about people coming together and sharing their own experiences, values, and goals that shape how they see the world and themselves. So these are next is the type of social groups. First is primary groups. These are your close, personal, and long-lasting relationships. They are important because they provide emotional support, comfort, and a sense of identity. For example, your family not only gives you guidance but also influences your values, traditions, and how you make decisions. Perfect examples for these groups are romantic partners and childhood playmates. Next is secondary groups. These are larger, more impersonal groups where interaction is often based on a specific goal or task. These groups are important for learning teamwork and responsibility. For instance, working on a group project with classmates teaches you cooperation, even if you are not close friends outside of school. Perfect examples for these groups are co-workers in your job or student council members. Next is in-groups. These are groups where you feel you belong, and you identify yourself as part of them. These groups also create loyalty and a sense of pride. For example, cheering for your team makes you feel connected and united with other members. Examples for these groups are churchmates or your church youth or your close classmates. Next is outgroups. These groups are groups that you do not belong to and sometimes even compete with. These kinds of groups help define our in-groups by contrast. For example, supporting your own school's basketball teams feels stronger when they are up against a rival school. More examples for these groups are rival sports club like the basketball teams or another school's debate club. Last is reference groups. These groups are groups that people use as a standard for evaluating themselves, even if they are not directly part of them. These groups also influence your behavior, fashion, goals, and lifestyle. For example, a student may be inspired to study harder because they look up to honor students or may adopt certain fashion trends because of social media influencers. More examples for these groups are business owners and famous athletes.
And now, after finishing the module 1, we are on off to module 2, which is the sociological perspective and the study of Philippine indigenous communities. So in here, we have the three main sociological perspective, which is symbolic interactionism, functionalism, and the conflict theory. But first, before we dive into that, what does even social perspective mean? Well, the social perspective is the way of viewing human behavior by considering how people are influenced by society, culture, and their interactions with others. The sociological perspective invites us to look at our familiar surroundings in a fresh way, and it encourages us to take a new look at the world we have always taken for granted, to examine our social environment with the same curiosity that we might bring into an exotic foreign culture.
Good day, everyone. My name is Carlos Navarro III. Today, I'm going to talk all about symbolic interactionism. Symbolic interactionism focuses on how people create meaning through social interaction. It shows how individuals shape society through everyday experiences, symbols, and communication. This perspective helps us understand how our daily interaction and the symbols we use shape our understanding of the world and our place in it. Symbolic interactionism highlights that our sense of self is not fixed but constantly negotiated and shaped through social interactions. By understanding the roles of symbols, language, and interpretation, we gain insights into how individuals create meaning and construct their identities within the social world.
So, today I will explain the perspective of functionalism in sociology. So, functionalism says that the society works like a human body. It works like what's inside our body, where every part of it has a job to do. So, it will become organized and stable. Everything will become organized and stable. Like when all when all parts of it work together, society became more peaceful and united. So we can connect it in indigenous communities, such as the Dumagats. According to the functionalism, they play an important role in society because their culture, traditions, and practices helps to maintain social order. For example, their stories and ritual. It teaches important values like respect for nature, cooperation, and unity. These values can help to guide how people will behave. Next is their land care practices. It protects the forests, rivers, and mountains, which benefit the whole country. The next is their traditional knowledge. It is like an herbal medicine or survival skills that is passed to the next generations that can help to preserve the culture's identity. So, just like our organs inside our body, such as the heart, lungs, or brain, one of which has a purpose, the same way as the traditions of the indigenous community or the indigenous groups. It helps the society function smoothly. They also keep the culture alive, strengthen community bonds, and contribute to the nation's identity. For make it more clearer, functionalism reminds us that every group in society, including the indigenous communities, has an important job that helps this society balanced and it helps this society to work well and how to make it more organized. But now, let's talk about conflict theory. Conflict theory sees society as a constant struggle between groups competing for power and money. It argues that the rules and systems in society are set up by the powerful to keep their advantage over the weaker groups. The focus is on this inequality and the fight to change it.